Hello and welcome again to Peppermint Wednesday. My name is Peter Roper, known as the Family Businessman, sharing with you today my video blog called Peppermint Wednesday, where I share questions I'm asked by my clients. Here's another question. I deal with big companies as a family business and they bang on about values but don't deliver on them. Why is that? Now, it's a really interesting question. I've heard this an awful lot with organisations, with their family businesses, and particularly if they are smaller family businesses and they deal with the big corporate machines. They feel that they're used and abused. They feel that when they come to them with how to create relationships and partnerships, etc. Big corporates talk about partnerships a lot, and long-term relationships. But the reality is simply this. The problem with this is that this person is using their values to measure the corporate they're dealing with. Corporates talk a good game. I know, I've worked in corporates for many years. I was lucky enough to be quite high up in corporates. And I know all about the missions and statements and the visions and values that are put out. And I don't for a minute think that the people doing them didn't have good intent. But the reality is the team don't work that way. It's not that long ago I was working with a major corporate, as I still do from time to time, for them to help understand how family businesses work. And I talked to them and had a session on values. And I talked about the fact that, first of all, what are the values of this particular very, very large and well-known organisation? And they kind of told me, but they started laughing because they didn't really know, because I didn't really believe in them, they didn't care in it, because they hadn't been brought into that process. And unfortunately, that's what happens. Somebody's employed in a large organisation, they're given all the stuff that says this is the business, what we expect from you. It's probably this thick because of health and safety and everything that goes with it. And they completely miss the thing that's most important of the lot, which is values. People that watch Peppermint Wednesday regularly know I bang on about values all the time because I think they're crucial. They're absolutely crucial. I also know I'm not perfect and I have to work on it. The thing is that when you come into a corporate environment, they never talk about values. Or if they do, they pay lip service to it. When I've sat with, I don't know how many people that are employed by corporates over the years and run a session for an hour and said, okay, let's talk about values, and ask them to write down their values. And I then say, when was the last time you thought about them? They'll say, never. Or maybe once in umpteen years. People don't talk to them about their values, yet that's the thing that drives a business. We know that from a family business perspective. So the reason why they don't deliver on them is because in the corporate machine, in so many cases, not all, there's some very notable exceptions, but in most of them, they haven't had any form of program that says, what are the values that you employ as an individual and how do they impact onto the business themselves and what does the business expect? So it doesn't happen. So you get this mishmash really of people saying they want to create corporate relationships. They don't really. In their view it's a relationship, but in the main it doesn't work that way. There are exceptions to the rule. There are some phenomenal exceptions to the rule, but in the main that's the reason why. You're applying your rules in this situation to them. And of course the thing is you're treating that person the way you'd like to be treated yourself, as I've said more than once. The only answer is to find out on an individual basis with the individual people you're dealing with what really makes them tick as individuals, and then align with them. And if you can align with them, it'll work. If you can't as individuals, it isn't going to work. So that's it. Let's get on social media. Let's talk about this. Send me an email. I answer them all personally. Let's talk about values when dealing with major organisations. Let's see how we can learn from each other. But for now, this has been Peppermint Wednesday. My name is Peter Roper, known as the Family Businessman. And remember, if I can help you in any way, just let me know. Thanks for listening.